People are the best show in the world, and you don't even pay the ticket. Charles Bukowski.
I'm on a mission, I'm paying dues, I'm in position, I'm staying up, it's getting late, you're doing good, I'm doing great, recognition, I'm on a mission, I'm paying dues, I'm in position, I'm staying up, it's getting late, you're doing good.
So tell me your story. You were shooting medium format?
I started 1982. 1980 I bought my first camera.
Wow.
It was Minolta SRT 101. No, it was before that one though. It had a light meter inside of it. Alright, so you're cheating now.
Well, cheating? Yeah.
I used to say I could do a wedding in my sleep backwards. That's how good I was.
You trying to take my shine, man. It's my moment. You mind if I take a picture of you, brother?
Okay.
You don't care?
Yeah.
You look awesome. Okay. All right, here we go.
So let me get my chain. Wait a minute.
Yeah, let's get the chain out.
My chain that you gave me.
Yes.
That and this one here.
Oh, man, that's gorgeous. Okay. Here we go. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
I know this life is right for me. I know the future's bright for me. I know my teachers lied to me. I do it for the ones that came before and nearly died for me. Recognition, I'm on a mission. I'm paying dues, I'm in position. I'm staying up, it's getting late. You're doing good, I'm doing great. Recognition, I'm on a mission. I'm paying dues, I'm in position. I'm staying up, it's getting late. You're doing good, I'm doing great. I had to let you go so I could grow and move. When time is of the essence, then it should improve. I had to leave to see what I could do.
Hey, welcome back. So today I wanted to share how I process the files coming out of my Leica M11 Monochrom, and I do that in Lightroom. Now, I will say that the way I process them is very minimal. It's not gospel, but you might find a nugget in the way I process my photos, and that maybe can help you out. So let's jump right into the computer. So before I get started on showing you my process, I just want to show you how amazing this camera is in low light images, and it really makes me feel like I'm shooting in film with all the advantages of digital. Here's an image taken at the Lantern Festival in Philly, and you know, I did this on purpose because I wanted to capture the detail in the dragon lantern. But by doing that, I severely underexposed the crowd and the sky and the trees and everything else. And I really wanted to see what this camera could do by bringing all this information back. So I went ahead and I did, you know, my auto settings, and that was looking decent. I lifted the shadows a bit. I played with the exposure some. I brought down the contrast. I reserve the highlights so that, you know, I can get those details back. I dialed down the brightness and the whites, and then I crushed the blacks just a tad and brought the contrast up just a bit. So here you have an image that is, you know, reminiscent of film. I felt like I was shooting at, you know, Triax. And I mean, look at the detail it's resolving. And when you get down to it, this is the computer trying to keep up with the resolution in this image. But the noise looks very, very filmic when you zoom in. And it'd be interesting to do a print of this photo to see it actually printed, right? Because seeing it on a monitor is one thing, but then having it printed could be very interesting. And maybe comparing this to to an actual film print. So this is the image, right? And it went from this to that. An image that you would imagine is completely gone, you can't do anything with it, gets saved, and this is the image. Now let's get into the print that I'm talking about today specifically. The picture that I'm going to be processing today is this picture right here from the video, and right off the bat it's a good image. He's in focus, and I've got a lot of detail in there to work with. And what I usually do is I start out by hitting auto and seeing where that puts the image. And now I can see the histogram here. I will go in and I'll crush the blacks a little bit. What I'll do is I'll bring up the shadows just a tad. And I will go down here to the curves adjustment and I'll turn this to medium. That's looking much better already from what it was before. So the next thing that I will do is I like to separate my subject from the background. So I will go in here into the masking, and the masking tools right now in Lightroom are just phenomenal. Before, you had to go in and color in your subject, and now you just click subject and it does a really good job at detecting the subject. I mean, I couldn't do that clean of a job with my mouse. I would have to pull out the Wacom. So I have the subject there, and what I'll do is I'll create a duplicate. I'll duplicate and invert the mask. So now I have the background. So I'll call this one BG for background, and this one I'll call subject. So I'll start on the background, and I usually I will bring the exposure down of the background by 2 stops or so, and bring the contrast down a bit. And then what I'll do is I'll go over to the subject, and then I'll bring the subject up by about the same amount. And it's usually by feel. I don't have exact numbers. I'll take a look at the histogram real quick, and I can see that I'm overexposing a bit. So I bring the highlights down just a tad, bring the whites down just a tad, just to the indicators here, letting you know that you're clipping the highlights. I don't want to clip anything on him. So that's looking good. I'll go back to the background, and I'll maybe bring it down just a bit, go back to him, and I'll add a little texture. So I'll go back to the overall image itself, and I'll look at that. And what I'll do oftentimes is I'll turn off the lights in the room and see what the picture looks like with the lights off, and see if it pops enough. So I may go in there and I'll add a new mask. This time I'll do a brush, and I'll go ahead and zoom in, and very generously I'll go in and color his eyes there. And then I'll look at it with and without. So I'll just turn it off, turn it back on. Maybe hard to see in the video, but it's just a little pop of light in his eye. And then I might play with a gradient to kind of focus the image. So here you have the before and after, and you can see how it pops. Now the final touch for this photo is I like passing it through the Nik effects. It's like ever so slight. And this image, this camera resolves details like crazy. So you know, I'll do that and just kind of let that live. So while here in Photoshop, what I'll do is I'll go over to image and I'll go to the image canvas and I'll switch it over to inches and I'll do 2 and 4. I can save it from here as a TIFF, or I'll save it in Lightroom. Alright everybody, that's it for this video. I hope you got something from it, and if you liked it, give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing, and until my next video, let's keep creating.